So here is 5 things I wish I knew at 18. I don't know why I'm stood up in this video, you'll have to let me know if you like this style. But listen, I've got a lot of regrets, yeah? And I'm only 24, I am only 24. But I did build a business from scratch in my teens to then making 1.5 million. If you subscribe, you've probably heard me say that 1,000 times. But it's the truth, I built a business from scratch, but I have a lot of regrets. I swapped a lot of time for that. And if I was 18, if I could speak to my 18-year-old self now, these are the things that I would tell him. So let's get straight into this. Number 1 is just relax, you have time. When I was younger, I just wanted to make money, I wanted to be rich fast. I was picturing myself at 25 and thinking, I have to be rich by then. But because I put so much pressure on it, what I ended up doing was swapping years of my life. I was literally swapping my youth for this goal I had in mind. You've got to understand that when you're putting that much pressure on it, you're causing yourself to be uptight, work all the time, you're stopping the flow of ideas, and it's actually going to take you longer to get there. Now, at the time you think, well, you're in a rush, you don't have any time. But you have so much time, it's crazy. You have so much time. This young money boom has come around in the past 10 years. I know on Instagram, every 19-year-old's killing it, yeah, but trust me, you have time, you don't have to rush. In fact, the more time you take, the less mistakes that you're gonna make. So first off, it's just relax. Don't think you've got to work 7 days a week at 18 years old. I'm not saying start wasting time and doing all this bullshit, but just relax, you do have time to make it work. Just focus on doing the stuff consistently. And when you have done what you need to do for the day, just take some time off. Don't just try and expect yourself to work around the clock 24/7, because the amount of work that you're doing is going to be less productive anyway, so you're just going to be doing less stuff. That brings me on to number 2, work less and think more. So when I wanted to just work all the time, what I didn't realise is me just doing physical tasks is not always working. Because if your only priority is I have to work all the time, then you're just going to put tasks in front of yourself, which 1, somebody else could do, 2, you don't really need to do, and 3, you're sort of doing it in a half distracted, half don't want to do it type of style where you're just wasting your flipping time, mate, yeah? So work less, think more. Take time to think about your next move. Think of how to do stuff better. Think if somebody else can do it for you. Think if you can get an employee. Think if you should be doing that work. It's all about how much you can think. You've got to take time to think. When you're making yourself super busy and you're just doing nonsense tasks all the time, you're like a hamster on a running wheel. You don't get anywhere doing that. And that is what I did for years. So although I worked 7 days a week for years, in reality, I probably did about 2 days per week actual focused work, and then you've got the downside of you're swapping your time and you're losing your youth. So that's a bad trade-off. So just think more. You need to take time to think. Take time to get into nature, ask people questions, and think about the right things, think how you can improve. And if you focus on that, by the time you've been working a few years, it's going to be tremendously helpful for you. So take time to think. And number 3 is you need skills, not money. I'm not saying you don't need any money. When you are young, you need to do some bullshit jobs just to get some cash in to put into your business, if that's what you want to do. But that's not the main priority, okay? The only purpose of that is to fund your business. The reason why you need skills is because skills are what are going to be transferable, and they are going to birth into actual real money. You need to be building your skills in order to be able to monetize on them later on. So I'll say for example, I chose e-commerce as the skill. So although my business was selling shoes, I knew that the transferable skill was e-commerce. So I wasn't only just learning about shoes, even though I was. But what I was learning about was e-commerce in general. I was learning about building a website, I was learning about social media, I was learning about sales funnels, I was learning about email marketing, I was learning about search engine optimization, because I knew that these skills can be plug and play into something else. So you need to be giving a portion of your time to skills. Now, I was super disciplined with how often I worked, but I wasn't super disciplined with how often I learned. So I wish I would have had the discipline at 18 to sit down for an hour or 2 hours a day and learn one specific skill. You can go onto YouTube and start learning how to make money and watching the motivational videos and all this type of stuff, yeah? But that's not focused learning, right? You need to be able to pick one topic, let's say it's sales, and do 2 hours a day for the next month. And if you do that, you're going to start really learning and honing in on skills better than 99% of people. Because a lot of the time when you just go on YouTube and you're watching general business content, you can be wasting your time, and like, come on, no, you don't want to be wasting your time, right? Number 4, you are allowed to have a break. Now, I used to be one of these hustle bros. I still kind of am, where I'm just like, I've got to work all the time. I've got to work as hard as possible. I'm not allowed a break. Listen, a break's not going to kill you, and a break's going to help you more, because you've got to change your environment. I used to have an office in an underground dungeon type thing, yeah? It was a super old building, no central heating, no windows. It was fucked, yeah? And I used to sit down there and work 7 days a week, and then I wondered why I was in the worst mental state I've ever been in. That was genuinely a thought process of like, how am I in this? But the truth is, I never took a break and I was in poor working environment. So you need to be able to take a break, because what a break's also going to do is it's going to make you feel like you're not just working and wasting your life away, but you're also going to be able to refresh your mind away from doing the same thing over and over. So do not think taking a break's not important. You need to take a break. Forget all the hustle bro bullshit, yeah? You don't have to be working around the clock 24/7. There's nothing wrong if you take a break. That's just your ego in place if you're not willing to take a break. So take breaks. I'm not saying you need a 5-hour break every single day. I'm not saying start messing about. Be responsible with it. Take a break when you need it. Take one every few weeks. Take a good one. Go away somewhere for a weekend. But don't replace your time with just working. It's not going to be good for you in any way. And you're not going to even get the work done. That's the thing. And number 5, it's delete your social media. I'm not saying you permanently have to delete your accounts, although sometimes I do that when I need to focus. If I've got to set up a new business, I'll delete all my social medias, deactivate them so I can't log in. But one thing that I used to have, so I used to have my work phone and my personal phone on the same phone. Now what this meant was, every time I opened a work notification, I'd be getting dragged into my personal stuff. And my screen time got to 11 hours a day, believe it or not. That's when I realised this is a problem. I am addicted to my phone, I'm wasting time, I can't even concentrate, because I pull my phone out and I can't even remember what I even opened it for. So delete social media. What I used to do was, every single day I'd delete the apps, and if I really needed to get back on it, I'd have to re-download it. But what that's about is, it's about adding a little bit of friction in front of wasting time on there, because then it's not just easy to pull out and press on. Social media, especially when you're living through some hard times, or you're building a business, it's gonna completely warp your reality. Because everybody is killing it on social media, or people only post the wins. People who hate their life are winning on social media. That's what you've got to remember. So watching all these guys and watching all these nonsense, it's bad for you. Now, social media you can use Instagram, because you can sort of control the feed. TikTok, don't even have that shit on your phone. You cannot have TikTok on your phone. I've never had it on my phone. I've downloaded it, I've used it, yeah, and I use it sometimes for work. But never have TikTok on your phone. That is a one-way ticket to Loserville. But you've got to do a social media audit. Just because everybody's using social media every day, and you see everyone on their phones, that does not make it normal. You're gonna waste so much time on social media. On average, people spend 2 to 3 hours a day on social media. Just imagine if you could learn a skill in that time instead of being on social media. And not to mention all of the other things that you're thinking about. Because when you're on social media, you look at someone else is doing with their life first thing in the morning, then all of a sudden you're thinking about what that person's doing, rather than thinking about what you should be doing. You're just adding thoughts into your head. You've got to understand, you only have so much mental real estate. When you're filling the mental real estate with nonsense, what people are doing, what people are saying, some bullshit shit on Twitter, some next Rishi Sunak meme, like all this stuff, it's just nonsense. You've only got so much mental real estate, so you need to be able to focus on you. Because if you're wanting to get a business, yeah, and you're wanting to really change your life, it's not going to be some part-time accidental decision. It's going to be direct focus for long periods of time. You can't be doing it while you're messing around on social media for hours on end. You can't be doing it while you're watching every single move someone that you went to school with 5 years ago is making. Yeah, you can't be interested in this stuff. It's going to take everything you've got. But when you get there, it's going to be worth it. Subscribe down below. Let's go.